When we first came into the exhibition, we learnt about the possum skin cloaks of the Indigenous people of Victoria and their importance to their culture. We learnt that the cloaks grew as the individual did, and the patterns were unique to the person and told their story and the story of their land. We also learnt that the Indigenous peoples weren't allowed to make their possum skin cloaks during the protection era and stolen generations. Pictured here is a possum skin cloak made in 2006 after the protection era and stolen generations, and shows that although the methods may have changed with this cloak using synthetic stitching, their traditions are still very much alive, being passed down from generation to generation as they used to be. Next, we learnt about the Indigenous people's coexistence with the megafauna of Australia, and learnt about finding of a diprotodon tooth, the animal of whose jawbone is pictured here. The tooth was found to have markings that could only be created by humans, and proved that Indigenous people had coexisted with megafauna for more than 20,000 years longer than previously estimated. The diprotodon, however, was by no means the only megafauna found in Australia. Every Australian animal that you know of today, there was pretty much a giant version of, such as massive iguanas and crocodiles. After that, we learnt about the agriculture and aquaculture of the Indigenous peoples of Victoria. It is said to have agriculture in a civilization. The civilization has to change the way a plant behaves, and the Indigenous people of Victoria certainly did this, because through the controlled burning of agricultural land that held yam daisy, or murnong in the native language, the plant's behavior changed so that the seeds had to have fire pass over the top of them to make them germinate. The Indigenous people of Victoria also had aquaculture, as they used fish traps such as the ones pictured here to capture eels and fish, as well as utilizing canals and tunnels to keep a fresh supply of eel year-round. Lastly, we went to an installation called Bunjil's Wings. Bunjil's Wings are named after the creation spirit of Victoria, a wedge-tailed eagle called Bunjil. There was a voiceover over the installation that explained what the Indigenous people believed Bunjil created. The blue here represents the rivers and waterways. The green represents the gullies, grass, and trees, and there were many other things they believed he had created. Bunjil was in essence a god to the Indigenous people, a divine being that could take the form of giant man or eagle, similar to that of Ra and Horus in Egypt. This was personally my favorite part of the exhibition, so I'm going to stop talking so you can appreciate my favorite part of the installation, Bunjil flapping his wings and calling out to the land.